Welcome back, and now over to Stephen Donkers with your 5-day weather forecast.
While you've been wearing your sunglasses outside for the past few days, tomorrow you may not need them. Today expect sunny periods with some cloud and a high of +2 and a low of -5. Tomorrow we'll have scattered flurries and a high of +1 and a low of -1. Friday expect a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 3 and a low of -3. Saturday is looking beautiful with sunny skies and a high of +4 and a low of -2. And finally, Sunday we'll have cloudy periods with a lovely high of +6 and a low of 1. That's your 5-day weather forecast. I'm Stephen Donkers, sending it back to the newsroom.
Thanks, Steve. A student demonstration over tuition fees took a violent turn last night in Montreal. Thousands of students turned out for a rally to protest the decision by the province to raise fees by 3% a year. Many believe the PQ government should have frozen fees after last month's education summit. At least 2 people were hurt and 50 arrests were made on charges of mischief and unlawful assembly.
The government is cracking down on the trafficking of contraband tobacco. A new bill was introduced in the Senate on Tuesday that would create minimum sentences for the act in the hopes of combating organized crime networks. Under the new bill, the maximum penalty for a first offense would be 5 years jail time for an indictable offense. The bill would also introduce mandatory minimum penalties when a high volume of tobacco is found. An anti-contraband force will also be created, made up of 50 RCMP officers.
A Canadian cardinal who is a contender for the papacy says questions regarding women in the church, abortion, and gay marriage are vital but secondary. During an interview with the CBC's Peter Mansbridge, Cardinal Mark Ouellette says those questions have always been secondary to the church, and that isn't changing.
South Korea is threatening to fight back after North Korea vowed to end the 1953 ceasefire that ended the Korean War. South Korean Army General Kim Yong-hun says the military will carry out retaliations if North Korea threatens the lives and safety of South Koreans. North Korea said it would end the ceasefire in response to a new agreement between the U.S. and China. The countries say they will impose sanctions to punish North Korea for their most recent nuclear test in early February.
The number of Syrians who have fled their country and are seeking assistance has now reached the 1 million mark. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees says Syria is in a downward spiral towards disaster, with millions displaced internally and thousands crossing the border every day. Syria's revolt began in March of 2011 with protests against President Bashar al-Assad's authoritarian rule.
And now with your sports news, here's Mark Mullen.
Well, folks, Humber men's and women's indoor soccer teams are heading to the OCAA Championship. The teams punched their tickets to the championship on Monday at regionals. The men won 6-0 over St. Lawrence and 6-1 over Durham, while the women beat St. Lawrence 4-0 and Durham 2-0. The championship kicks off March 21st with Conestoga as the host team. Both Humber teams won the OCAA last year. The Leafs are in action tonight at home, taking on the rival Ottawa Senators. The Leafs and Sens are tied for 5th place in the East with 28 points each. Forward Jay McClement stepped up on Monday when the Leafs beat New Jersey Devils 4-2. McClement got the equalizer that helped the Leafs come back. Head coach Randy Carlyle says he likes McClement's style of play.
But Jay McClement, that's why we brought him here, is because we believed that he would be a guy that could demonstrate the work ethic, come in and play on the penalty killing, just be a good teammate, good fit for our group.
Puck drop for that is at 7. Other NHL teams hitting the ice tonight. The Avalanche are in the Windy City to take on the first place Blackhawks, who are still unbeaten in regulation time. The Sharks head to Calgary to battle the struggling Flames, and the 7th place Coyotes are in Anaheim to take on the 2nd place Ducks. The Toronto Raptors are on the road looking to snap their 5-game skid. They hit the court against the Phoenix Suns, who are 21-39 on the season and sit in 13th place in the Western Conference. The Raps lost Monday night to Golden State, and head coach Dwayne Casey says the Raps need to get back to basics.
We've got to be able to have a pace in the game, but yet and still now come back, shrink the paint, and get back to our defensive fundamentals.
Tip-off is at 9. Other teams in action tonight. The Orlando Magic head down the road to battle the red-hot Miami Heat. Kobe Bryant and the Lakers head to New Orleans to take on the Hornets. The Bulls are in San Antonio to hoop it up with the first-place Spurs. And the third-place LA Clippers host the Milwaukee Bucks. In Grapefruit League action, the Jays are taking on the Detroit Tigers down in Lakeland. Last time these two teams played each other was a couple of weeks ago, with the Jays coming out on top 10-3. Other teams in action today: the Washington Nationals play the Phillies, the Pittsburgh Pirates battle the Bo Sox, the Brewers go up against the Seattle Mariners, and the Chicago Cubs take on the Texas Rangers. That's it for sports. Now back to the newsroom.
He may be the hero we deserve, but not the one we need right now. As it turns out, the British Batman is only a joker. The British Cape Crusader, famous for delivering a man wanted for burglary into police hands in English, has taken off his mask. It turns out Batman isn't vigilante, he's Stan Warby, a 39-year-old Chinese takeout delivery driver. Warby wore the Batman costume earlier to a soccer game and was later asked to drive his friend to the police station for moral support. Warby says he kept it on as a practical joke. He now says he's had enough of his newfound fame and is giving up his Batman costume for good.
That's all for Humber News for today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Julia Frazina.
And I'm Kelly Snyder. Humber News is written and produced by journalism students at the North Campus. You can also catch us on YouTube. We'll see you next time.